Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Taylor, here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And today we have Chad Fink in the house. I like your eyes.
Nice.
You got the big eyes going on. So how you doing, Chad?
I'm not unwell, thank you. How about yourself?
Been good.
Good.
Like I said, we were just talking beforehand. I've been enjoying the COVID. The end of time suits me. So
When I got a hold of Chad to come on, I realized that I picked up right, and I mean really right where we left off, right before COVID last year. It was like the end of February, and he and I were talking about him coming on the show.
Oh, right.
And we were like trying to like nail down a date or whatever, and like going back and forth. And then I just opened back up with, how about Sunday? I was like going to do a little preamble, but I'm like, this will be funnier, because it's like the conversation just like a little skip of a year.
It was just
like
a year.
Almost exactly a fucking year, and then right back to it.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's been a year already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just saying that you got your first shot already, and you're getting your second win-win.
I got my second one scheduled for the 6th of April. So
6th of April. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the arm soreness was like no shot that I've ever got before. My arm was very sore.
Oh, really?
But I didn't get any symptoms or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
Though that's just the microchips kicking in.
Right.
Exactly.
Installing Windows 95 on your system.
They're going with Windows 95.
Yeah.
God damn, you'd think they would come out and they would use a better operating system. But, yeah, I just had I'm a little kind of out of it today because I just had my second shot yesterday. And it was a fucking doozy. My arm isn't that sore. I mean, I wouldn't want you to punch me in it, but yeah, I had a pretty high fever last night and was very, achy, joints achy and stuff like that. So it just really takes a lot out of you. But I already had COVID, and like we talked about last time, apparently if you have COVID, you already have the antibodies, and that's why it like fucks you up so bad that
That's a medical term.
fucks you up. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And we are doctors, coming to find out. But I was really hoping that this one wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but it was. It sucked.
But worth it though, right?
For sure. Yeah. And it's real short. I mean, like last time it was about 48 hours that I felt pretty shitty last time. And this time it was really just, I don't know, overnight, 8 hours. That kind of sucked. I still felt kind of weak and just kind of bleh, But yeah, definitely worth it though. I mean, like fuck, I'd cut a finger off to like be able to get back on track, I guess. So
Nice.
I'm not going to. But if I was going to, I'd
Do
use
it for
that
the
job.
show if you're
I would
going
use that. Yeah. Do you remember-
Ratings.
Did you ever like listen to Cheech and Chong when you were growing up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember Up in Smoke on there? They're doing the game show, and they're like,
Give me the cleaver.
yeah, exactly. You could choose what's behind door number 3 or the cleaver. I'll take the cleaver, man.
And then he does it, and
Yeah.
shows like, you weren't supposed to actually do that.
Those shows have a really low rewatch value too.
I don't know that.
Have you tried to watch
think
any of
I
that in the last
watched it.
15, 20 years?
No, but I remember we had the tape, back in the
Yeah.
day, and man, we would listen to those things all the time.
My uncle introduced my brother and I to Cheech and Chong. I think we were like 8, 9 years old, so perfect age for that.
You don't really fucking understand English.
That's probably, I think my brother introduced me to Cheech and Chong, but like I mentioned before, the whole Eddie Murphy Delirious tape.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how old we were, but Nathan and I would like go out and listen to that in the tape deck in his mom's car.
Yeah, 8 or 9, you'd have to be.
And just giggle our
in that
asses
area.
off.
I remember when Raw came out, I was, what was that, about
We were
15.
teenagers then, yeah.
And that was rated R, and you had to, so we had to get we had to go and whatever buy fucking tickets for Aladdin and then like sneak into to Raw, and all my friends got kicked out, but I don't know. I must have looked old enough. I mean, I had a full beard.
Well, I was going to say, you did always have that goddamn impressive, like, 5 o'clock shadow and shit, which is weird for a 13-year-old.
Yeah. Except I couldn't grow a mustache back then. I had like I was like, I thought for a while, I thought I was Amish. I just didn't. Really, so.
That's actually the reason why I've gone with a chin strap, the beard look.
Yeah.
For so many years is can't grow a fucking mustache.
You can't.
Well, the old age must be really kicking in because now I can.
Oh.
It actually grows at the same rate as the rest of my face.
Huh. But you just had chin strap for so long that
might as well stick with it. I tried the full beard and I just got bored.
Huh.
So
yeah.
I get bored easily.
Oh man, your wife posted that picture.
I was going to say,
the...
let's not talk about Christine's facial hair. She's very sensitive.
She posted that picture of you without
Just
the
kidding.
beard?
My wife does not have a beard.
What was that, some app or what was that?
That was an app, yeah.
That freaked me the fuck out.
Freaked me out, too. It was fucking hideous.
I was like, holy shit, you look like you're 106.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
But
that's ageism.
Not that it's not that I'm beautiful with a beard, but no, that and it did that. It did a weird thing to my teeth, so my teeth looked jacked up, and yeah, it was not flattering.
Yeah,
I almost didn't let her post it, but then lately, you know, at this age, I'm going through so many changes anyway. I'm like, what do I have left to be vain about anyway? Post whatever the fuck you want, you know, like
right.
So
yeah,
I'm just a ray of sunshine today, aren't I?
You are. I'm all fucked up from my shot. You're all ray of sunshine. So, I just recently finished listening to The Changing of the Guards, your audio.
I have not finished it yet, but damn.
I listened to so much.
So I am really, really, and I think I've talked to both of you about this now. I'm really picky about, is it called voice, like
narration,
narration, voice acting?
Yep.
Because I found a guy that I was like, oh my God, like I want to fucking, it bothered me so much. It really took me. And it wasn't just one book either. The guy does like a series of, it was the guy that I talked to you about in the Sharps Rifle series.
Yeah.
No, I've been going back and forth between him and a guy that narrates the ones that I found on YouTube. But his accent kind of bothered me. His voice really bothered me. That shit, like, and even like I've shied away from girls that had horrible voices.
There's not that many really great female narrators. There are a few, but
it's tough.
Yeah.
My buddy Jeremy introduced me to a girl one time, and she was cute. But he introduces me to her, and I was at work, and they came into the bar, and she started talking. And I fucking busted out laughing, like right in her face. I felt really rude because she was so nice. Weird. She was pleasant, but her voice was just so fucking god awful that I was like, get the fuck out of here with that, you know? And I started laughing, and Jeremy knew what I was laughing about, but she was like, what the fuck, you know?
You were just
and
asshole. I'm
just like, your fucking voice, you know? And which that's normal, you know. I'm not fucking normally rude like that, but she forgave me. She was aware that her voice is fucking horrible.
What do you mean by horrible? Like high pitched?
It was.
If you sound like
it was like high and nasally, and just and it's just like, and for some reason it really like when it comes from a really cute girl, you're just like, whoa, holy shit, you know, like. I don't know that, but a bad voice is like a deal breaker for me. So, and of course, Chad has a great voice, and what I noticed was you're fucking really good with the other voices. Like, usually when I'm listening to an audiobook, which I've only been doing that for a couple months since Matt turned me on to Audible and stuff, and those amazing headphones. that we're not sponsored by.
But we should be.
But we should be. So I noticed that a lot of voice actors they do like they've got all these characters to keep track of, which seems kind of hard because once in a while you'll hear them slip into another. You'll like, oh, what character's talking now?
Right.
Like because that sounded like, but fucking it looks really difficult. But yours totally sounded like different fucking people. Theirs just sound like them making weird, like changing shit up a little bit and sounding like like different variations barely on their own, on like the main character or whatever. But yours sound like different people.
So how do you get into that? How did you land that gig?
Well, actually, it's through ACX. I can't remember what it stands for. Something like
I
audiobooks.
don't speak acronym. So
Audiobook Exchange Creative or something like that.
okay.
That's where you go to get your audiobooks published and to find narrators. And that gets published to Audible, Amazon, and iTunes,
Okay.
which I thought iTunes went away, but apparently not.
I have no idea. Apparently not.
Apparently not. Still there. But it's just a free account. You don't need like an agent or a yearly subscription or anything. You just sign up, you upload like samples,
Okay.
voice samples, so the prospective authors can hear you. I mean, you also upload an audition. There'll be a posting. You can search postings like by language, by gender, by genre, by accents.
Huh. So then you got on this exchange, you put your audition material up there, your samples, and then did the authors get a hold of you and say, hey, we want to do it, or how did that work?
They just they posted the book
Yep.
and said it's open for auditions, and I downloaded the script and did my audition, sent it to them, and they liked it, so they hired me.
So what did you think of the book?
I liked it.
I did too.
It really helps.
But it is a fucking weird book.
Yeah, yeah.
So the premise to it essentially is that it's about this kind of like Batman-ish style superhero.
Yeah, the comics are kind of that DC, kind of dark,
Yeah.
twisted, weird, just what the fuck kind of.
But they
And
get
it's
into
so much
some
fun.
crazy shit. And part of it, I was like, it fits very well into my alien theory. But they were talking about the what is it called? Antediluvian technology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the pre-flood technology. Remember when Shelley and I went down that fucking rabbit hole? But like, I was like, wow, it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to, I would have liked them to get more into that. But I mean, that they do like a good job of like scraping the surface, but not like really, nobody really wants to know about the Mandalorians, Mandalorians, Metachlorians, what the fuck are they called? Metachlorians.
Star Wars?
That's Star Wars.
Yeah. Nobody actually wants to know about those.
Yeah,
Just-
no.
The Force just works. Just
We like
fucking-
to pretend that never happened.
I don't want to know about your metachlorian count. Just fucking back off, Lucas.
Although metachlorians is now easier for me to remember. Like when I start talking about like boo boos like neutrophils, I always like the first thing that pops into my head is metachlorians.
Oh,
I always want to say his metachlorian count, but
does Boo Boo
Which
ever?
is very high.
Does Boo Boo ever go? I got a snort. on me.
the force.
I like how you're
choke.
Yeah, so it was a really interesting book. And then I had seen on your Facebook that you were working on this female Welsh accent, and you
Oh
had
my
posted
God.
some stuff on there,
Yep.
how it was kind of frustrating, and you were like, and then, so I was really like looking forward to getting to that part of the book. Of course, it's the very end. Or I think it's pretty close to the very end anyway.
Second to last chapter.
But man, I think it's one of the things when I'm listening to audiobook, a lot of times guys doing female voices they just fucking
Brutal.
They
Brutal.
just drop it.
And that's one of the biggest challenges of being a voice actor. Either
Because here's the go-to female voice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then a female trying to do a male voice.
That's almost.
I think
for
that's
the
even
most
tougher.
part,
Actually,
that's
one of one audiobook I was listening to called Bone Music
bone music.
by Christopher Rice. It's a great book. I had read the book, and then I found the audiobook and listened to it. And it's a female narrator. The main character's a woman, so makes perfect sense, right? But unfortunately, her voices for men always sounded like constipated
Yeah. Right.
and bothered.
Yeah.
Like, that's unfortunate. I mean, the book is still great. but
Right.
it is a challenge doing a different gender.
Yeah, and a fucking with a Welsh accent,
Which North Welsh
isn't easy. Apparently,
the author specified
I know.
North Welsh.
I know.
Like,
In the book,
shit.
she's describing herself, and she says, "And I am North Welsh, and I still carry a bit of the accent." And I imagine when you were reading the script, you're like, "Oh, fuck my ass," just like
That's actually a quote. Yeah, I think I did say fuck my ass. Oh, God.
Accents are fucking tough anyway.
Tough.
Because it's brutal normally to listen to people do accents. All the accents that I thought that I could do at one point, I don't attempt anymore because I feel like a lot of people, like, I feel like most people like feel like they can do like an accent or two or whatever, but and to them it sounds all right. At least this is what happened to me. I'm like, oh, I've got that. I can totally do that. And then you find out that it's shit. I cannot,
Well, it's it's kind of like me thinking I can sing, and then I hear a recording of myself singing, and I'm like,
But you enjoy it, though, right?
well, fucking.
Well,
yeah,
see,
that's-
in the singing, like having a lot of practice with your voice, like I imagine that lends that makes this stuff doable and so much easier because you've had to because you've had to hit like notes and shit like that, and whereas like somebody like me that's always known that I could not sing at all, there's just ranges of my voice that I have never experimented with, like I have never tried that, and because I know like it would sound. I remember trying out for choir when I was in like 7th grade or whatever, and he's like, okay, hi, and it was a bad. I was only trying out for choir to get out of school and go on trips and shit like that.
yeah,
and do other
that's why
shit.
you go to. That's why you go to choir.
But some of those people actually can sing though.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible, horrible experience, and I pretty much never tried to sing in front of people again. But yeah, just all the practice that you've like put in, and all the singing and stuff that you've done, like that. It really shows up in those books because, man, you're really easy to listen to, and
Well, so my question is how the fuck did you figure out how to do a North Welsh accent? I mean, did you get online and like I mean, how?
I tried just like YouTubing, like literally how to do a North Welsh accent. Well, that it ends up going in circles and down rabbit holes and not getting any closer. Like the guy will demonstrate a North Welsh accent, and then all the comments are from North Welsh people saying, "Hey, that's a bunch of shite," or whatever. So what I ended up doing, and actually for all of the accents I did, the Slovenian, Slovakian, whatever guy, I would look up that area's regional news.
Oh,
And
good,
just
good
Listen to the
idea.
anchors, listen to everybody they're interviewing, and kind of pick up on that. Make some notes like which sounds are like with a North Welsh. And I found this out about a lot of different accents is that so many accents roll their R's or
Right.
trill their R's, but some more than others.
Right.
So you can't just go full on Scottish brogue on a Welsh accent because the Welsh will come and find you and kill you.
Right. It's like when you say that in your book, like that you're North Welsh, it's like, man, it's a lot of pressure because that's a very specific accent.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this character lived.
sake,
Is that what? Turn your goddamn phone off.
Mom, I'm
just,
busy.
Are you gonna just make a call?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna
What
put it on
the?
speaker. There.
Remember you guys ever hear that comedian talking about like the origins of the Scottish brogue? You know, like how that's not really an accent. How everybody sounds like that when they've drank enough scotch. And he's like, yeah, because apparently he'd performed in Scotland like a few times. And then he said he figured that out. That like, yeah, that's just what you sound like when you're that drunk.
That's just being
You suck.
drunk.
Come at me, you wee fucking cunt!
The some of the worst accent stuff it had to be Braveheart. Like Mel Gibson, and I mean he was just so over the top with his.
I was really,
Scotch
I was proud of myself. I identified a particular accent. There was that a couple of actresses shared. I was watching Dexter, and Lila in Dexter, if you remember her. Yeah,
I watched like the first season.
It was good up to a certain point, then But so there was a character in there, and I'm like, I know that fucking accent, and it sounded just like another actress that I had that I just saw in something, and I was like, I wonder if they're from the same area. And so they were both from London, and like lo and behold, they were both from the same area in London, because but I've never been able to. I'm not good with accents. I'm not good at placing them. But I mean, if you go to a lot of major metropolitan areas, they can nail it down to your neighborhood pretty much.
Oh, right. I mean, especially in like New York, like,
Yeah.
you know what borough they're from or whatever.
And then like you should hear like Christine's family. Like Christine, like I can't hear any. It pops up once in a while.
Boston?
But normally I can't hear any Boston in Christine.
Yeah, I don't ever notice it, but I hate that Boston accent.
I'm not a
No,
fan
ma.
either. You know what other accent I fucking can't stand?
Actually, you know what? I don't hate the Boston accent. I hate it when
Women.
Yes.
Same thing with Australian accents for me.
Ooh.
Actually, I hate Australian accents altogether, but that Southie accent, like that
Yes.
I fucking hate when you like. I had. Okay, my mother-in-law doesn't watch the show, so we were safe. But because she sounds like I mean, you could fucking well, she lives out there.
Like Ray Donovan. Like I loved the way Ray talked. But man, when his wife opened his mouth, I'd be like, "Shut your fucking mouth, God!" Did you ever watch Ray Donovan?
No.
Oh, and she's just got a
great show,
a really good show. But
she does sound like straight. Yeah, even though she's like loaded, she's a rich lady, but she grew up there and she sounds like trash.
Just has that total Southie trash. Yep.
Oh, jeez.
But it is, that is a terrible, a really unfortunate accent for women. Now, like Southern United States, like Georgia or something like that, those accents sound great on girls. Don't appreciate them much on guys,
Right.
But
yeah, I guess I could see that. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
I love Irish accents on women.
Oh yeah. But I like Australian too. One of the podcasts I listen to is Science Versus, and it's I can't remember her name. Zucchernini, I think is how she says it. But that's her last name. I don't remember her name. But anyway, she's got a really awesome Australian accent, and I don't know. She does a great. I love that podcast.
I really like New Zealand. Like they've got a pretty distinct and really cool accent. I mean, there's probably several for all I know, but the one that I always fucking hear. And who sounds a lot like Australian? What sounds a lot like an Australian accent? South Africa.
Oh yeah.
I met a kid from South Africa, and I was like, I was like, is that Australian? Because it doesn't sound exactly, but it's close. And no, it was fucking South Africa, and I'm like, wow, I was way off. But he's like, no, they're a lot. The accents are a lot like.
You had the right hemisphere, though.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Got that going for me, which is nice.
So back to the book. How long was the book? 10 hours? 9 hours?
About excuse me, about 8 hours.
8 hours. How long did it take you to record it?
2 months.
Like, how many hours would you think?
Shit.
A shit pile, right?
A lot. I mean, it's at least 3 or 4 times that just in recording, and then many, 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 many more times that in editing.
Right.
Editing
So you
is,
edit it yourself?
Yeah.
You edit it yourself? Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you got to go. So you like read a piece of the piece, and then you got to go back and cut out any pauses, and then did you have to like go and make edits, like re-record shit that you're like
Oh, yeah.
that you
The entire first chapter I had to re-record because I forgot to purge the radio guy out of my voice.
Oh, okay.
And there was no, and another bad habit I picked up in radio was silence is death in radio, right? Dead air.
Right,
That's
right.
why they
You
call
don't
it
want
dead
dead
air.
But not so true.
Not so true in an audiobook.
In an audiobook.
You need that space to really give the narration impact.
Right.
Like just a beat can have such an impact on the story.
Right.
But I was so I got to get all of these words. I'm so used to reading 35 seconds of copy and making it into 30 because fucking salespeople suck in radio
Right.
that I had to go back, re-record the entire first chapter, and just calm the fuck down and just enjoy it more instead of
Right.
panic reading, which is kind of what happened in radio.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I only I pick out mistakes in books, and almost every book has a fuck up in it. Mm-hmm. And you said so one time, like you said so, and then moved on. Like it was. I think it was so. I think it was just like a one cut where you didn't whatever. But other than that, it was really good.
See those Sharps books.
There's a lot of fuck ups in that.
Yeah, I picked those apart.
They're old
because
though.
I hear.
I mean, you got to remember, like, see, that's the thing is like audio recording is advanced. Like everything is advanced, and those books were read in the 80s. You know, so like there's a huge difference between even just the ability to edit. I mean, you can like
You're cutting up tape in the 80s.
Right, exactly. So that's why you'll hear a lot more fuck ups.
I feel like, fuck it, just move on. Good enough.
Have you ever heard of the author? But actually, really, the audiobooks are. I can't imagine reading those books because the narration is so fucking good. But it's Joe Abercrombie. He has the one.
I know the name's familiar.
The book is, or the series is like Best Served Cold or something like that. I got it off of Martin, George R. R. Martin. He has a book list, and he's like, this guy has the best, the best, like, fucking dirty, like visceral, like kind of low fantasy. But the narration on it is just incredible. The guy is and I can't remember his name. I should have looked it up, but I didn't know I was going to talk about it. But he is a pretty famous Broadway like actor, and I actually listened to a pretty long interview with him, and he was talking about how much he liked doing audiobooks because it was like being on stage, but he got to play everybody. So he's like, he got to play everybody. But man, talk about and like how each character's voice was so distinct that you just could totally envision them in your head. You were never like confused who was talking.
Well, that guy that
he's a master.
The dude that I really couldn't stand, it's just a taste thing, because that guy, the one, as hard as it is for me to listen to, he's been hugely successful at it, done like hundreds of books, and I mean like War and Peace and stuff like that, and just like all these big, not easy fucking books, and but like some of the shit that drove me crazy, was like that really like that effete snob like English accent, like the cadence and shit, and it wasn't like without him even being in character, and I'm like, oh, that's just you, Like, I fucking hate you.
I don't hate the character. I hate you.
You know, obviously he's good at it. He's made a fucking career out of it. He's very successful at it. But for me, personally, I was like, when I switched over to, because what happened was, a lot of these books in the series, like the overwhelming majority of the books in the series are like included on Audible. But in between, there's a few that are not. So I would listen to them. I listen to the ones that aren't on YouTube. Well, YouTube, inferior platform as far as audiobooks, but a different guy was doing doing the voice. So I was like, oh, it's such a trade-off. Like, which do I like better? Do I like the guy who I can stand, or do I fucking, but,
or do I like the guy on the app that I can actually close and still listen to?
Right. Well, I can do that now with YouTube because, kind of, because YouTube is still a very much inferior platform for audiobooks. But now they will play in the background, which is kind of a pain in the ass in itself, because like it has to be like in a particular spot on your phone, like you can see the little box. Well, it's also over like where I have to hit send if I'm sending a message or something.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, oh, let me move it over here. Oh, it shut off. Like it's a huge pain in the ass. But man,
I think this is called first world problems.
probably, yeah. But there's 21, what is there, 21, 22 books in that series?
Yeah, shit pile of books.
Lordy.
It's Cromwell. Cornwall. Yeah.
Bernard Cornwell.
He
He does a lot of
did a
historical
fiction.
Sharp's being the most famous.
Yeah.
What's his name? Bean.
Mr. Bean?
No.
That's what I was thinking of.
Boromir.
Sean
Bean. Yeah. Sean Bean was in these like the novel or the TV shows,
And he died in them all, I guess. I'm guessing. That's kind of his.
He does
his
have a
shtick,
track
isn't it?
record like that. He survived Ronin and the Sharp's
No, he
books.
died in Ronin.
No,
What? Yes, he did.
no.
He had to have.
They kicked him out of
It's
the.
just not right.
Remember, he ambushed him with a cup of coffee and they threw him out. He was out of the group because he
I
was
thought he
lying about
died
being
in under the bridge. Well, maybe not. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen Ronin.
which it shouldn't be because man, that's such a great movie.
It is a good movie.
I consider that like a thinking man's action movie.
Yeah, that and Heat.
I wasn't crazy about Heat. I should watch that again though because
I like that one, too.
The cast was super good and shit.
So, can you make a living doing audiobooks? Like,
can.
did it pay okay?
It's since it's my first one, I get royalty share.
Okay.
So just to split the royalties with the author.
Oh,
So please buy the damn book, Changing of the Guard,
yeah.
Spire
changing.
City Noir.
I'll put a link to it in the show notes. I
Indeed.
say that, but
Well, that shit made me want to play Supers in
it's good. Yeah,
because I'm a big fantasy role playing guy. But I played a lot of like Supers games in like GURPS and not so much GURPS, a little GURPS, but Marvel superheroes back in the day. And that shit made me want to play to play a Supers campaign because fuck, and the names when you're like generating a brand new like superhero, names are hard. But the names in there were pretty fucking awesome.
And some of them were really funny too.
The main character is Johnny Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was like, but I mean, for a character like that, you know, it should be kind of cheesy. And he was supposed to be like an older, hero. So like, that, like he would have had that name for a long time, So like, yeah, shit, that was cool.
Yeah.
I was trying to think who my favorite bad guy was.
The three main ones are Dr. Wissenschaft, the old Nazi.
Yeah.
Then Horatio Sin, the dapper, fairly younger guy, still a mad scientist. And then Tactical, the
old
Slovakian
butcher from the I was trying to think of what sea that was. Was it the Adriatic? No. Anyway.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a C.
It was like that Bosnian, like Croatian Serb thing or something. Like
I get very, very confused on any type of geography in that part of the world. I got nothing.
It changes.
It just seems, it's like a mess. What else did I want? Well, I don't know if we want to jump right into shows, but fucking, have you seen Raised by Wolves?
I'm not finished with it. I think I'm just over halfway through. And at first, like, I wasn't crazy about it. Like when I first watched the first episode,
I was
but
like,
it's getting better.
I was like, what the fuck is this? Have you seen it? It's
Heard of it. Haven't
It's
seen it.
on HBO Max, and it's which I actually had to get a fucking Roku just to watch HBO Max because.
First world problem.
Yeah, I know it really is, isn't it? But my computer's getting old enough to the point where I can't stream anything like HBO Max. It starts to stutter, which pissed me off. But you know what? It was $25. I mean, it wasn't really the worst thing in the world.
My computer, I had to go through a whole optimization process. Like, it looked it up online, optimize it for audio recording. So shut off like different features that I wouldn't use it, because my computer's from like 2008. And I'm recording like hours at a time.
Yeah, I think mine's a little newer than that, but not much.
Yeah.
You know, it just gets to the point where, but I mean, at the time, my computer was a badass machine, but you know, shit gets old.
Mine was like, kind of set up for, like video editing and stuff.
Yeah, mine was set up to do live streaming video. That was what I bought that thing for, and to do fights. And then I did one, and then that organization closed.
Doesn't that figure?
And it was like,
Well, you know how much video editing I do. So mine, basically it's great for video editing. Oh, okay. How is it for the occasional game and regular porn? Fucking.
Ah?
Yeah. So
I've gotten my money's worth out of mine.
I guess shit.
I've recorded. I mean, recorded radio ads with it, recorded bands with it, mixed down all that kind of stuff with it, and recorded this audiobook with it.
Right. So do you have like a little home studio too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, not just for audiobooks, but like where you record music. So we never even really talked about that, but you are in a band. I should have wore that shirt, except I had to wear this one because I made it. I'm getting ready for I heard that there was like a pandemic, so I figured I'd start dressing for it. But I went with like the Black Death. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah. Actually, no, Meta and I were watching Game of Thrones, and I just really liked Tyrion's jacket thing that he always wore. And I was like, I'm going to make me that. So that's what happened.
I like that shirt.
I just do. I have too many goddamn projects. What the fuck were we talking about?
Bands.
How you were now playing bass for the Revolution.
Yes. I can do that dance. Anyway, so way long ago we had Ron Barron's on, and you guys have a band together called Lola. Yeah.
Yes, I got the band tattooed on my arm.
Right on.
I mean, yeah.
It's been around for over a decade. So.
You started that band, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you guys just kind of like rock out with your socks out. And you guys also, which haven't been able to do this year because of COVID, but you work with the whole, I can't remember what it's called.
School of Music.
School of Rock.
School of Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Munson's Memorial School of Rock. Yeah.
And which is a fucking amazing thing where you go in and you like teach kids how to
be in a band.
how to rock out.
Yep.
And then you go and have like a big show with them, and they really, really like rock out. I mean, it is so fun. And I went to it, well, what would have been 2 years ago, I guess it was. And Meta kind of had to drag me. I wasn't all that excited to go because I was like, okay, we're going to go to Tornston Auditorium and we're going to watch a bunch of fucking kids play. I've been to fucking band concerts, right? I'm not. And I was so excited when we were done because they like it wasn't a fucking band concert. It was a fucking rock show with a bunch of kids, and it was fun. So hopefully next year you guys will be able to do that again.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah,
I believe we're going to be meeting soon. Probably a Zoom meeting, I assume, but
Right, yeah, of course.
discuss like fundraising. Just trying to keep it going in anticipation of eventually the plague going away, or us being able to live with the plague.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fuck.
it's gotta
And
be
rock. Damn it.
Yeah, so you enjoy doing that program?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I mean, it's such a great opportunity for kids to like be able to get out there and like, not just to actually like and Ron was saying like they come kind of at all different levels of ability. Like some of them are like, I don't do anything. Okay, well let's start off with this, and then
Yes.
and then some of them actually have some skill and
Well, and how good is that for, these kids and stuff? Like, like a lot of things that require confidence, practice is key, and just like fucking jumping in and doing it, like once you've got enough practice to get, once you've got enough practice to actually do it, like then you need to do it. And then, and then all this stuff like builds up to a level of confidence.
Oh yeah.
And
you don't have very much time with them either. It's only 2 weeks or
Yep. 3 days, 2 weeks. I think we get like 4 hours or something a day.
yeah, and
Something
then
like
then you have to plan not only like
it's-
learn the song, but then you got to plan a show.
Yep.
And it was a hell of a show. Like it wasn't like a fucking like talent show at the at your high school where like okay, and for our next act, it went from one thing to another thing, and I mean it was super fun. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait if you guys do it again. I definitely want to go and also get on board with trying to like raise money for it, and like because I think it seems to be one of the coolest things out there.
It really is.
I think so too.
So much dang fun for for the instructors and for the kids too.
Well, and you and Ron are a blast anyway. I always love going and seeing you guys.
We
I
have
mean,
the fun.
You guys have played together for so long that you like really have a language that's not like your
Love language.
right, but you guys look at each other, and then the next thing you know, you're like you're playing guitar, and it just cracks me up. Like you get some of the D. You get some of the D going on in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
So, and yeah, that's a blast. We were in the middle of Raised by Wolves, and then we got sidetracked. But Katie Ritter mentioned that to me when Meta and I were out at dinner the other night, and I don't know, like that's whatever. Whenever I talk to somebody, I'm like, "Hey, what are you watching?" And she was like, "I really like this Raised by Wolves." And I started watching it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's just a weird sci-fi, like really out there. But I watched the whole season, and yeah, I think it was pretty good. But man, it's like
Very bingeable.
I don't usually binge stuff that I'm watching myself because I have very limited time to watch anything that like if Meta and I are watching something, then we'll binge it because she's a junkie.
did you guys burn through Game of Thrones yet?
Oh yeah, we're all done with that. Yeah,
And
she wasn't real. She loved it. She wasn't real impressed with the end, which is interesting.
Oh, really? That's weird. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never. Not once.
Which was interesting because I like, it was interesting watching her go through it because she never had before, and but yeah, it was she really liked it. But every time we watched it, she's like, "I want you to make me that dress." I'm like, "I am not a fucking
You're live-in seamstress.
yeah." She went out. She's like, "Oh, I want that with the armor." Jesus, we'll see what we can do.
I've been trying to get into Mr. Mercedes.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's a Stephen King story, and I've had a couple people recommend it to me, and I've given it like 4 episodes, and it's not bad, but it's also not great.
Hasn't really hooked you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm patient like that. Like I told you, like I watched 2 seasons of Breaking Bad before I was like, fuck you, like I give up, like fuck this show. And I mean, a hugely popular show, like just about everybody that I know fucking loves that show. I fucking gave it 2 seasons and was like, this is fucking.
I mean, if you give something 2 seasons, you gave it a fair.
Yeah,
fair
I feel
try.
like I was fair to it. That's a big fucking chunk of my life. Well, not at this point. But it's just, but
Less and less of a chunk of your life.
absolutely.
Every day.
But definitely time I could use now, especially when I was that young. But yeah, I can't fucking. Oh no, I have been slowly getting caught up on. Was it Neil Gaiman?
Yeah.
American Gods.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I read the book and I just didn't.
I enjoyed the book.
It was all right.
I enjoyed the season. I enjoyed the show. Although I'm enjoying the show less and less as it goes on.
It's a bummer because I like him so much.
Well, I don't know anything about Sandman or anything, but apparently that's going
I
to
don't
be a
even
thing
really
now.
like Neil Gaiman. I don't think he's that great. I mean, fucking sue me. I mean, I just like and like so many people just fucking worship him. But I'm like, I've never read anything that he's written and been like, this is amazing. I think he's an okay writer, but not great. I know people are like just apeshit over the Sandman thing. That's one of the only ones I haven't read of his, but because that's a graphic novel, right?
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't think you can listen to it. So if you can't listen to it, I don't read it.
Man, audiobooks really have fucking changed. I mean, because like like I've told you many times, like I was not reading anything anymore. Like I'd started like I even stuff that I love. Like I started reading Al Franken's last book because he doesn't really write much anymore, and it was good. But every time I'm an old man now. Like I start reading and I fucking fall asleep.
Right.
So now like audiobooks and shit. Now in the car, like dicking around the house. Like whatever. Like going to bed at night. Fucking like I'm listening to that shit everywhere.
John. Last time he was talking about that, I can't remember what it's called, TikTok soldier or whatever.
Oh,
remember
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, and so it's like this weird British Cold War spy drama, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Now, it's a British book written for British people. Okay, I'm in it, but. Fuck it, I don't understand anything that's going on. Like, I seriously can't keep the characters straight. It's so British, I don't understand the language. Like, they're saying, like...
Speak English, you
"Oh,
fucks."
cheerio, bum in my... And I got there. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what is a crumpet? I got nothing here. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Yeah, but...
It's what you have with
it'll
tea.
be interesting. I'm gonna get through it, and then I'll talk to him about it. But I was like, because if somebody gives a book recommendation, I like to try to check it out. Because I always am curious what people are. Why? If somebody says this is one of the best books I ever read, I want to know why. And figure it out. But I don't know if I don't know if I'm British enough. I don't think I'm smart enough to actually like follow it. It's the problem. So,
Man, well, there's a lot of...
that motherfucker's smart.
Believe me, there's so many books that I'm like, this looks like it would be interesting if I was smarter.
Right.
As it is, like guilty, like what a lot of people that consider like their guilty pleasure stuff is about as sophisticated as I get on most days. I mean, I'll still like even shit that I like can sink my teeth into, like Noam Chomsky or something. I'll be like, but how long is it?
Authors like to use big words.
You
Even
know?
in the comics, even in the,
Well,
the
and
audiobook I did.
I used to like be so, when I was a kid, and I was so thirsty for that stuff. And I always had a dictionary like nearby, because I'd run into words that I didn't know what they meant, and I'd look them up. But I was a kid, so I would remember that shit. Now, like, if I bust out a dictionary, when I didn't know a word, I could fucking like run across that word like 3 pages later and be like, "Where's that fucking dictionary?" Like, I don't learn like I did. I don't fucking absorb all that shit. Now I'm just like, "Bah."
I had to use Google pronunciation many, many times on this book.
Oh, I
Man.
bet.
For
Did
words
you
that I
know
just-
the word antediluvian?
That I got.
You did know that one?
Yeah.
Because that's a word that that I'm super familiar with because of all of the like crazy oh shit, what's his name? I don't remember.
But there were a lot of creative phrases and stuff in there that I've never. I was like, oh, that makes sense, but I've never heard them used together before. I like that. Like,
Yeah, it was
that
a
kind
lot
of
of
appealed
clever,
to my inner nerd.
a lot of clever stuff in that book, and something the author pointed out. Where I guess we're talking about changing of the guard again.
Are there more books? Because there's like huge gaps.
Yes, yeah. This is an anthology
Okay, so this is different stories.
in chronological order, but not sequential. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because like there's like a 10-year gap between chapter 1
Yeah,
and
I'm like,
chapter.
what? He died. Now the cop is the hero. Like shit like that. Oh, spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah, like nobody's gonna get it from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't want a spoiler alert. Too bad. I know, because I wanted to talk about the thought robot, but I don't want to get into it because like it really is. And you probably aren't there yet, but I thought that was
Thoughtbot
a
or
very
thought tech.
interesting concept. But yeah, very cool.
Nerdy,
It is a little nerdy.
but
Yeah,
it's fun.
yeah,
So much damn fun.
yeah. So there are more. Are you gonna do any more of their books, or
I'll audition if they release them.
huh? Do you have any plans to do another book?
Oh, yeah.
You have your line out in the water already.
I did submit one audition. I think a couple weeks ago. It was. I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Oh,
But I'm also moving, so I just I decided to take it easy on the auditions till I get moved into the new place, get the studio set back up.
yeah, because that's like I can imagine that it takes like pretty hyper focus. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, that was another thing. I told you, I was like, I've been down on myself with this whole fucking like recovery thing. Because you put a thing on Facebook, and I was like, and I'm like, what are you gonna say, Kyle? Yeah, I'll bring my old one-armed pussy ass over there. I'm telling you, every fucking like this whole surgery thing is crept. I just want to tell people like, yeah, if you ever need to get a surgery to like repair something, don't fucking do it. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, but you had to do it. I mean, you have to do it, but it just takes a long time to recover.
Really long fucking time, an obscenely long time. And in the meantime, like they should have like had it on the paperwork, like you will not feel like a man for at least a year.
Possible side effects
okay.
include
We were talking
Like, why would I want to feel like a man?
demasculization.
in my weekly staff meeting that I do. We have like one that's just like it's just us fucking talk about whatever. Like it's just like not. It's not really a work. It's not work related, and we get into whatever. But the other day we were talking about how some shit isn't what it's advertised to be, and I was like, yeah, I felt that way about my vasectomy. They didn't put that that it was gonna hurt like a son of a bitch, and my balls are gonna drop 6 inches in the fucking brochure.
Oh man.
But it was so true, man. I was like, and this was a long time ago now, fucking 20 years ago, I suppose. But yeah, I was like, if they were just like, oh, no big deal, it's just nip, 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 and fucking balls the size of grapefruit, that's like bullshit, Put that in the fucking brochure. I mean, I still would have done it. It was way worth it. But
Way worth it.
Put a picture in there too.
yeah,
Your balls before the vasectomy. Your balls immediately after.
You're marching around outside the clinic with a fucking sign with a big picture of your fucking balls. You got a before and after picture of my balls here. Do you really want those?
If anybody tells you to grow a pair, Get a vasectomy. Thank you. Try the veal.
So what are you watching?
The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Finally getting
I saw
to
that.
the Mandalorian, and I love it.
I put a plug
I love
in
it
for
too.
season 2 because I wasn't crazy about season 1, but man, I fucking loved season 2.
well, yeah, I loved them all. I love everything peripheral that Star Wars has done. So like, I love
The Christmas special.
the Christmas. Number one's the Christmas special. But like, I love the Clone Wars cartoons. I love Star Wars Rebels. I love the Mandalorian. What's his name? Jon Favreau.
Favreau, yeah.
Favreau.
Like, whenever he's touching it, I feel like they're on the right. Oh, I'm really interested in Grand Admiral Thong.
Thong?
What is it? Thon.
And his sidekick, Cisco.
Oh, Bonto. Oh, Cisco. Man, I don't think you can do that anymore.
Did you know that the Iron Sheik, pro wrestler Iron Sheik,
Yes,
got
we
into
had
a
a
Twitter
guest
war?
on a while ago. A friend of mine, Danny, who used to do some pro wrestling, who had like a weird, bizarre, drunken thing with the Iron Sheik one time in a fucking airport. But anyway, yeah. So he got into a Twitter war with.
Cisco.
Oh, really? From Bonjo and Cisco?
No,
The thong guy. Cisco.
yeah.
Help me out.
The Thong song?
Thong, 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 thong.
Oh, I don't know what we're talking about.
Dude lives in
like-
Minnesota now, or at least
The
did for a
thong
while.
guy? What are we talking about?
The thong song.
I don't know the thong song.
Let me see that thong. Yeah, you know.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe you could try singing it.
I don't know it.
Kyle can't sing.
No.
There will be no singing.
He's mean to me about my singing. Whatever. I deserve it.
Well, we are.
No,
gonna,
I don't deserve it.
Sing
My
more.
singing deserve it.
We're gonna do a full musical show one of these days. So. Oh, fucking. So the Mandalorian. That's what you're working on.
But I'm going to do
very
nothing
good.
but Motorhead. Which reminds me, we were talking about Motorhead earlier, and because my Public Enemy shirt, I was actually trying to order a Motorhead shirt, and the company that I ordered it from, they sent me the wrong size, and then they sent me the wrong size again, and like to show them my
Well, they sent you a size that didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was like a. It was like a.
an X, and I ordered a 3X because that's where we're at these days. So I ordered a 3X, and it was the width, like using their size chart. And I busted out the tape measure and everything, and it was the width of a XL, but the length of a medium.
And the tag said 3X.
Yeah, and the tag said 3X.
So
Jesus.
but what I really want is a picture of Kyle in that belly shirt, because that would be fucking.
That's not a problem. Like I said, I have nothing. There's like no vanity anymore. I'm just like blah. Like I've got to
for it.
just accept getting old and yeah, all that.
Growing hair in places that you didn't grow before.
Absolutely, my lynx hairs and shit, you know. So they were like, "Can we send you another one?" And I'm like, "Really? Like, I just can't. Like, just send me my fucking money back. This is getting ridiculous." So they're like, "Oh, well, we can't do that, but we can absolutely send you another one. Can we give it another try?" And I'm like, "Yes, okay, cool, that's fine." Well, we don't have that design anymore. So that's where that shirt came from. And I forgot how I got started on that story. Oh yeah, Motorhead. So I was happy to see that you're a cult fan.
Yep. Love the color.
I think that might have been my favorite or my first concert back in the late 80s. The Sonic Temple tour, which was a fucking spectacular album.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that band because like there was a lot of rock bands then. And, when they kind of like strayed from that, whatever that new agey type of thing that they were doing,
The new wave.
and kind of got more into hard rock, like, and there was a lot of those bands, but none of them sounded like the Cult. They were totally doing their own thing. Just a really solid band. fuck, no, I can't think. Ashbury.
Ian Asbury.
Yeah, and what's the guitar? What's the guitar?
Billy Duff.
Yeah,
Billy
Billy
Duffy.
Duff.
Billy Duffy.
And,
He has just got the most amazing guitar tone live. And a lot of his gear is just stock, not like highly modified or anything. He makes sure to let people know this is like this guitar pedal, this flanger. It's like, this is just a stock pedal I got from like Guitar Center or something like that. It's not modified or anything like that.
He just knows how to play it.
Yeah, just knows how to set his shit.
And and Ashbury has that cool, that cool voice, that kind of and that kind of Jim Morrison kind of vibe, like.
He sang with the Doors for a while too.
Oh no shit! I did not know that.
Funny story.
After Jim Morrison
awesome.
died, or
Yeah. The Doors of the 21st Century or something like that.
yeah,
They went back out on tour and they had Ian Asbury
kind of
singing for
remember
him.
that. Yeah, I don't know the cult like at
It's like
all,
his
but
like his movement and like stage presence and stuff like that. Like it just kind of reminded me of Jim Morrison. I did not know that at all. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great fucking band.
I saw them at Mill City Nights a few years ago, and it was a religious experience. Fucking loved it.
what is Mill City Nights?
It was unfortunately a venue down in the cities.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember what it was before that, but it closed.
Oh,
Lots.
I think a lot of them are going to.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
Which is
So, how much do you miss like being able to play?
a lot.
A lot, right?
mean, it was such
and I mean,
a-
you guys weren't playing like every weekend,
No.
but
We were set to start playing every month at least.
Right.
And then
yeah,
the
and
world
everything.
went dark.
Yeah, yeah. Last time I saw you guys play was up at Harpo's. That was a great show.
Love
Super
Harpo's.
fun night. Yeah, I like Harpo.
Always
yeah, I
so
love
much fun
Harpo's
at
too.
Harpo's. Love it.
Yeah.
And our last gig was Summerfest in Deerwood, a socially distanced show. We were on the semi-truck trailer, and the crowd, like all 20 of them that came out, were in different like squares. They had squares painted onto the lawn.
How fucking weird is that?
That was so fucking weird.
I would
And
have.
they were all on Ron's side.
I would have just. I would have had no choice but to play combat chess with them.
Right? It's so tempting.
Move to Queen's 4 and kick that fucker's ass.
Checkmate. Yeah, they were all on, except for my girlfriend and two of her friends. They were all on Ron's side. I was like, come on, I'm the guitar player.
God damn
I mean,
it.
he's a better guitar player, but
Is he?
oh yeah,
Oh.
I think so.
I mean, you
They'll
guys
probably
both-
say otherwise, but I think so.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I always see you guys play together. So I don't know.
I saw, you put that thing on. He played Cakewalk on. He and put it on Facebook the other day.
You
I
mentioned
fucking-
that. You sent me a
I
thing.
love
I
that.
couldn't fucking find it.
Oh really?
No.
Man, and it's
I don't know
a
what
fucking great
Cakewalk
song by Taj Mahal, and goddamn, it's just. I was gonna, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna sing it because
Go right ahead.
that's awful.
I will make fun of you.
Well, that's a blues song, so I might be able to. I might be able to take some liberties and get away with that one. He would cringe because he's a musician, but no, but it's a fucking great song, and I was like, holy shit, we need to play this like on the show or something. I enjoyed that.
I'm hoping as soon as I get the new studio set up that I can start actually recording some live stuff, like singing, playing guitar.
Do you guys do any writing?
Used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I still do. I don't do songwriting anymore. It's more riffs and
Right.
so
writing
basically
music.
just music. I'm a terrible fucking lyricist. So I just stopped with the songwriting, but now I'm actually thinking about starting a production company, like a radio imaging production company, just because I have so much music that I'm doing nothing with.
Explain that again. Like what?
Radio imaging. Oh, it's like the sound effects and like music beds.
Okay.
When a jock is talking, or like even over on a commercial, the music in the background.
Huh.
Like somebody else writes that, and then they send them on a CD, or well, it used to be a CD. Now it's just all MP3s, and then they use that for the music underneath the talking.
So you're thinking about like starting a company where you like supply that stuff to people? How would that work?
I don't know.
Huh.
I'm trying to find out.
Interesting.
I can't seem to get a straight answer on it.
So I know.
How do I do this? That's a great idea.
Well,
But how do I? Okay, never mind.
so I used to have a subscription to like this back when I did more video production, which I don't do shit other than this now. But I used to have a subscription to a B-roll archive, so you could search kid eating hamburger, and then you'd have 10, videos of kids eating a hamburger to choose from, and it was, you'd pay like $60 a month for the subscription or whatever, but you could also sell them the like clips of that you shot, and then submit them, and then I don't exactly know how you got paid. You got paid some royalty depending upon how many downloads or whatever. And if I remember right, there's something really similar with music like that. Some kind of
With radio, it can be barter. Like the station doesn't pay anything, but they play your ads that you have a salesperson go to companies, and then they play the ads, and then they sign the affidavit, and then you bill the companies, and that's how you make your money.
Huh. Interesting. Is radio like still... I mean, you worked in radio for how long?
On and off for 21 years.
Yeah. Is it like... I haven't turned a fucking radio on in years. Like, well, NPR, but I haven't even really turned that on in a really long time. Like, I just get everything through podcasts now. Is radio, like, still viable?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Especially with, weather. I know we got our phones for, like, severe weather and everything, but still with that, community matters, that kind of thing.
I guess it needs to go more local. It does seem so
That's the
bad.
problem with it, is radio, too many stations listen to radio consultants.
Yeah.
And consultants are paid to tell you you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Not to find something that you're doing wrong. They're paid to tell you you're doing something wrong.
Right.
No matter, it could be the perfect show.
I actually knew a guy who was a consultant. He wasn't a radio consultant. He was a business consultant or whatever. And that was essentially what he would do is he'd go into a company and he'd basically tell them how they're fucking up. And I was like, I think I'd be a great consultant.
If stations would draw that shit out of a hat every morning. This is how they fucked up.
You remember Office Space? One of the greatest shows of all time. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've seen it.
They have the consultant. Oh, I loved it. I have a funny story about that actually. But I don't know why I'm telling work stories. But at work, my boss and I were just on the same page, and all the time we're talking about like anytime we have to do something stupid, she's like, "I'm gonna need you to fill out that TPS report," and so like we're always like making these Office Space jokes. Yeah. And one of my other coworkers, who I won't name because it kind of makes her sound dumb, she was like, never got these references, and she's like, "What the hell are you guys talking about this Office Space?" And I'm like, "Oh man, just anybody who ever works in an office, they need to see Office Space." So anyway, a couple weeks go by, and she's in our staff meeting one day, and she goes, "I don't understand. Like, I am on season 3, and they haven't talked about TPS reports. They haven't."
She's watching The Office.
She's watching the fucking Office.
Even worse, the American version.
I actually laid down on the floor. Oh, but I loved the American version. I actually didn't like the English version, which is weird because I love Ricky Gervais. Which, by the way, Meta and I are in an argument about how you say his name. Is it Gervais or Gervais? And I was listening to a podcast with him and Sam Harris, and Sam introduced him as Ricky Gervais. So I win, Meta.
I always thought it was Gervais. So
Yeah, he's got a fucking S on it. So I pronounce everything. I pronounce every letter there. Period.
Gervais.
I spell everything out in its phonetic form.
Yes, except for phonics. Isn't that
Yeah.
weird?
Have you ever noticed phonics is not spelled
Phonetically. I have. Yeah. Wow. So when did we drop? Was it earlier? Let's take a quick break. I gotta take a pee. We'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
So speaking of and we have Chad in the house. Speaking of you watching The Mandalorian, I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole cancel culture thing that's been hot on everybody's thing. And I've been seeing on Facebook like all of these posts, both ways. What are your thoughts on cancel culture?
It's a buzzword being used by terrible people to not or try to deflect responsibility for the consequences of their actions.
So give me an example.
I don't think I really worded that correctly.
Well, the people...
That was a bit of a word salad. Tossed.
But it's not like it's a new thing.
Right.
You know, I mean, the people that are the most angry about it right now because they don't are the people that hate to consider consequences, you know, like the consequences are for them too. But I mean, you know, some of the best examples that people are pointing out lately are like the Dixie Chicks. You remember
When the Dixie Chicks
remember when the hillbillies were mad at France and they decided to call French fries freedom fries?
I do. The Dixie Chicks were talking about George W. Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And
this
then-
was like on the verge of the Gulf War.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
the
And
second Gulf War.
and then the whole right wing
Or burning their CDs.
country
and shit
radio
like
station
that.
stopped
so
playing
that's
on.
an example of somebody getting canceled. Another example I can think of, a really clear one, is when nothing compares to
Oh, Sinead
Sinead
O'Connor.
O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor was on
Saturday Night
that was
Live.
my Sinead O'Connor
was
when she was on
great.
Saturday Night Live, and then she ripped up a picture of the Pope, and
Yeah.
people freaked the fuck out, and really kind of totally misunderstood her point regardless, but like she was done. I mean, like she couldn't get played anywhere forever. Actually, somebody who I've always just really admired in music and as a human is Willie Nelson. And after that, Willie got a hold of Sinead, and they did a song together. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's about the unemployment crisis back in the 90s or whatever it was during that time period. It's a great song, but it was just crazy that he was like,
Yeah, it seems like a weird
"Fuck
pairing."
it, it's a great song though. Yeah, they do a duet. It's really good. Yeah, I'll have to find it. Yeah, but then recently you got the Gina Carano getting
Now, some of this stuff seems like it's going, it's some of the stuff seems a little heavy-handed. I mean, that always happens,
Right.
The Gina Carano thing. Should she have been fired? That's the business's call,
Again,
whatever. But
that's up to the business.
I mean,
But should she be canceled? And there's a difference. And the thing is that so Tharg had a post on Facebook, and I agree with Tharg 99.9% of the time. I mean, I really think he is just intelligent. He thinks things out and so on and so forth. But he made some posts about how cancel culture, where everybody's buzzing about cancel culture, but it's been going on for a long time. For example, after World War II in Germany, they don't allow any display of swastikas anymore, and that is, canon. And I'm like, okay, I see that point, but also I think it's okay to believe in free speech, but also not be and not agree with cancel culture. I mean, you got to remember the ACLU defended the KKK's right to free speech.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing. I think that was the right thing for them to do. It's so, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the Bill Burr thing. I don't know if did you see anything about that? He apparently was on the Grammys, and I actually watched it.
Mistake number one.
It's pretty funny. He was actually on the pre-show Grammys, and he's doing his thing. And I like Bill Burr. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up, but he's been on Joe Rogan a bunch of times, and I just he's a fucking funny guy. But he's a comedian, and he's kind of an asshole comedian. I mean, it's his shtick.
He's not shy about letting you know that he's an
but
asshole.
He comes on there, and he's like, there was somebody playing piano before him, and he goes, Jesus, did anybody else want to kill themselves during that piano solo? Anyway,
he's great on the Mandalorian too.
Yeah,
it's
except
not a character
what
he's
the
playing.
fuck is up with a gun coming out of his shoulder? That's just weird.
It's like, okay, Predator.
But and then he was on Saturday Night Live a month ago or whatever, and people were all up in arms about that because he was being kind of an asshole. But I liked it. He was talking about how it was nice how everybody was wearing masks. And he's like, yeah, it's really nice having Brisbane in a mask. And he goes, and some people don't want to wear a mask, and that's fine too. I mean, if you want to kill your fucking grandma, you just go right ahead. That
Mm-hmm.
And I thought what he said was pretty funny. But I just am I feel like the left is making a mistake by canceling people, by deplatforming people, by canceling, by saying oh, that is that makes me feel unsafe, and they're we put it away. I don't think that's the right move.
Like what?
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
Yeah.
How are they doing that? The whole idea about Bill Burr, or because I just watched some shit where they were on Entertainment Tonight or whatever, where they were talking about canceling him, that was their magic wand, that they could just do that,
That's weird. That's weird. I haven't heard anything about that.
About the Bill Burr thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, see,
I'm too focused on Dr. Seuss.
Oh, well, okay. Dr. Seuss is another good example. That. Well, actually, not a good example.
horrible example because
horrible example
because like a lot of these, just like Mr. Potato Head and stuff like that, it wasn't like people were like,
oh, I didn't. The
calling
Mr. Potato
for
Head
them
thing
to,
was so bizarre.
like nobody was calling for that. Like nobody was protesting.
There
any
weren't
of that
big
shit.
Marches.
It was just companies that were like, this doesn't sell worth a shit, or this doesn't fucking like we can't really this is not cool for us to market anymore, so we're gonna we're just gonna not do that one anymore, or we're gonna change this or whatever. And then people jump all over it and start calling it cancel culture, when it's it's just the company saying fucking yeah, we can't do this anymore. I mean, good for them, if they fucking if they want to change shit up a little. I guarantee Mr. Potato Head hasn't got this much fucking publicity ever.
Well, that was
Since
the whole
Toy
idea.
Story.
Yeah, that's a very I
But the whole
Dr.
Dr. Seuss thing, I mean, they what was it, 6 books or something that they are stopped publishing?
Yeah.
But they're books that
Nobody's heard of.
they're
It's not
all
like they're
fucking
canceling Green Eggs and Ham or something.
right. And they did have a bunch of fucking
Yeah,
really
some of the imagery was fucked up.
And Dr. Seuss and the Dr. Seuss admitted that.
right. Have you ever watched fucking Peter Pan? The cartoon Peter Pan? What, like the kids were just watching it the other day? Holy shit, it's the most like ridiculously fucking there's some ridiculously racial things in there, like
With
when
the- with the natives
with the
and stuff?
natives. It's like I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that couldn't be released today.
Oh shit. So the other day I was when it was really fucking cold, it was like 40 below or whatever. I went to God, I don't know if I tell the story. Yeah, fuck it, I can. I went to I couldn't get my goddamn van started because like once it's that cold, it's just, it's old and shitty and doesn't want to start. So I finally fucking get it going, and I would go over to get coffee, and on my way over, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's fucking like, I thought the transmission was going out or something. Well, lo and behold, I had a flat tire. Kind of drove it all the way to Caribou on a flat tire, like a totally flat tire. And then I get my coffee, I get out, and I'm like, fuck. I'm just driving it to the tire store. It's fucking too cold for me to even like think about changing this tire right now. So I drive it to the tire store, and I get in there, and the guy in front of me is talking about how his tranny's slipping. And even in that context, it was like a little weird to just hear the word tranny.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they were doing it on purpose, but the word tranny got thrown around a whole bunch of times in this conversation about them. Oh yeah, well we could probably get you a new tranny and da 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 da. Anyway, so he leaves, and then I'm the next person up there, and I walk up and I go, I don't think you can say tranny anymore. And the guys just fucking like laughed their ass off. I like those guys, but it's a good group. I don't know if I should say who they are now though. But
They were talking about
point?
transmissions.
They were talking about transmissions.
It's just
Yes.
the word.
Right.
You just kind of think, oh God.
Right. It's a
Should you
word
be saying that?
Right.
Like, well, it's.
It's a transmission.
Yeah,
We're talking about transmissions.
We know what they're talking about. So
Right.
Cancel them.
Right. Exactly. That's funny.
Sorry. Go ahead. No tacos.
No, that was it.
No tacos. for you.
Cancel them.
Oh, but the whole now that the left seems to have gotten in on the show, people seem really pissed off about cancel culture, but they're misusing it. They're fucking, like they're all over the place. Like nobody canceled Dr. Seuss. Nobody canceled Mr. Potato Head. People just like to fucking bitch about that stuff. And I posted something the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but people being so worried about that shit, like wait till they find out about fucking racism, because what I compared it to, I made the comparison because like, cancel culture, is about the about what may or may not be, and like a overreaction to someone's to someone's actions. But really, like, fucking compare that, and look at how much time and press and shit that's getting. Look at how fucking worked up a lot of people on the right are about that. When they're worked up about nothing because half the shit is not even actual canceling, and if they're worried about something being unfair to someone, like, what about, what about racism? Like these things do not stack up.
Racism, women getting paid to do the same job, getting paid less to do the same job as a man.
Yeah, things like that. Now I'm not gonna say that like every reaction is. Look at what happened to fucking Al Franken.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. There's been shit that, and the stuff that people try the shit that people go after people for, it's not necessarily fair or an appropriate reaction. I'm not going to pretend that the whole cancel culture thing doesn't exist. In fact, anybody like there are people that are famous for
It totally exists.
being, there was a Saturday Night Live skit where they were talking, they like named a couple people that do that shit.
No, it totally exists.
Yes.
And I mean, especially in the the arena of like
Entertainment.
academia.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when we were talking about the can't remember what they're called now, but the studies, you know, where the guy was like they were
Yes.
going to the dog park and talking and like it was like masculine rape culture and in dog parks and all of that
Yes.
stuff. Something studies.
What the fuck was that called?
But so so there was this group of professors that were getting just sick of how fucking stupid the social sciences, you know, like what the hell? What's a social science?
Oh, it was
like
the-
women's
like the
studies,
women's studies crowd and
yeah.
stuff like that.
And they were getting so sick of how like
gonna see if I can
ridiculous
find that
these
quick.
papers were that they decided they were going to write some papers and try to get them published in peer-reviewed journals, and they were going to make them as ridiculous as they possibly could to see how far they could push it. And not only did they get a shit pile of them published in these peer-reviewed journals, they even won an award. And the award that they won was for the one about rape culture in dog parks and how guys who bring their dogs to dog parks are propagating rape culture because the dogs hump each other in the rain. It's a fucking like reading the
Jesus.
the actual study is like how could anybody take this seriously? And they obviously took it seriously enough to put it in their fucking publication and
Won an award.
won an award.
Jesus.
And then the backlash from them doing that was severe, and several of the professors ended up like losing their jobs and da 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 da. Da. And it was like,
I can't
and there was no malfeasance or anything like that. I actually have them. I have the whole fucking stack of them somewhere, and I've never read them because
But
they're
the people
really
that-
hard to read.
Yes, the academics that actually published these, that wrote these papers, that made their way into these peer-reviewed journals and stuff, we're like losing their jobs and shit like that.
Right.
You know,
They were
because,
getting
like,
canceled,
Yeah,
and like
because they made these people look foolish.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean
the
that shit.
soft sciences.
They should probably run that shit out of academia. You know, so like it exists. But it's been going on for such a long fucking time, you know, and now we've just got like that, you know, like the buzzword.
The problem
And-
is that it definitely exists. The problem is that now the right is taking everything that possibly could happen. For example, them deciding to no longer publish 6 obscure Dr. Seuss books and being like, this is camp. It's Tucker Carlson. That's the fucking problem.
And Ben
That guy.
Shapiro.
Yeah, which again, we've had this conversation about Ben Shapiro. I enjoyed his interview on Joe Rogan. It's about all I know about him, and I haven't really checked anything more out. But I was defending him because I liked his interview on Joe Rogan. I thought it was good. So, but apparently he's a douchebag. But whatever. But Tucker Carlson,
A dry douchebag.
Indeed.
Isn't his wife the dry douchebag?
Yeah. With the dap. Dry ass pussy.
Yeah.
So the thing is it's like, and then you have fucking like it's so weird that Wet Ass Pussy is like one of the biggest songs of today, right? I can hardly make it through a shift at the bar without hearing it 4 fucking times. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously, guys, again? Again?
This is what happens when you blow a pandemic response.
We get wet ass pussies.
We get wet ass pussy. That's the biggest song of the year.
How is that connected to the pandemic?
It's not. That was a joke.
Oh, god damn it, because I really wish there was a through line. Because I was like, fuck, if you can find a through line there, I think that's great. But no, damn
Now,
it.
conspiracy theories are popular nowadays, so
Well, that is true.
let's throw that out
So
there.
popular. But look at the
Wet-ass
reaction.
pandemic.
So you've got people like us that are like, we should run that shit out of academia. We should do something about cancel culture. Now, here's why we shouldn't. So every fucking time, you see what happens. Like, what does the left do when somebody on our side fucks up? Like, they have to deal with the fucking repercussions, you know? Like, they fuck up, they get canceled, you know? That's that. Now,
Okay.
if you're on the other side, if you're, you know, and I'm biased, whatever, but like, I think the reality backs this up. Now, if you're on the other side and somebody that you like, you know, if you're a right winger and somebody that you like, one of your right wing fucking heroes, if they fuck up and do the same fucking thing,
Okay.
what do you do with them?
But this happened on the conservative side just as much as it's happened on the
Has it?
definitely during the Tea Party time period. So like if anybody who was a Republican did anything where they were trying to like reach across the aisle, they would get canceled and they would get primaried by the Tea Party. Remember, it was a big part of how the it was a big part of the newsroom. They talked about it, but it was definitely true. That's getting canceled as well. It's not just a left and not just a right thing. Now, during the last 4 years, you are 100% right that the right has literally done the thing that the police do, where they like, what is that called? Where they I don't know, like rally, like no matter what, they never.
Oh,
the
yeah.
thin blue line kind of thing.
Yeah, the thin blue line. Yes, they definitely do that, where it's like, okay, he's on our side. It doesn't fucking matter how horrible he is. We're gonna like back. But it hasn't always been that way. It's just been that way.
And it
it's
used
been
to be
that way.
And canceling people used to be a right wing thing altogether. Pretty well.
No, I think it happens both ways. The thing is I don't agree with it. I don't think you should cancel. I don't think that the
Who did
that
the left go
mob-
after when we were kids, though? I mean,
I don't know, but I don't think that the mob should be able to just be able to like shut people off. Deplatforming, I think, is dangerous. Now there are exceptions to that. I actually think Twitter, shutting down the president's account was completely justified. What was unjustified is that they let his fucking account go for 4 fucking years when he was doing things like threatening nuclear war. I think that might be a violation of the terms of service. I'm just guessing. I've never read the terms of service. Who the fuck has? But I don't think you're supposed to use your Twitter account to threaten nuclear war with North Korea.
Especially with a big audience like that.
Right. Yeah. Rocket Man.
yeah, you can't say you're going to go over to somebody's house and shoot them.
Right. But you apparently can say you're gonna like
Nuke them.
Totally fine. Yeah. So my problem with Twitter was just that they acted it was so little so late with that. But the whole idea of just that's a very specific example though, where you have the fucking basically leader of the free world using his Twitter account to like put out misinformation. That's a very specific example. But I think that the way that whatever it is, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram even have been like deplatforming people. I don't agree with that either. I believe that we should like have the marketplace of ideas and be able to just talk about whatever the fuck. Now,
If it becomes a danger, if it's
you
endangering
can't
somebody.
yell fire in a crowded theater. That's never been protected by the First Amendment.
Right.
And I did like when they were doing the whole trial, what was it called? Impeachment. You know, the example that they used that it wasn't like Trump just yelled fire in a crowded theater. He was the fire chief yelling fire in a crowded theater, and then telling his guys to set that fucking place ablaze. I mean, that's a very, I mean, yeah, it just, man, it's gonna take us forever. So,
Yeah.
I was reading a book a while ago about the about the like Queen Elizabeth era, and during that time period, like there was the Catholics and the Protestants in England, and they were like so fractioned, right? I mean, like if you were Catholic, you fucking hated Protestants, and if you're Protestants, you hated Catholic, and there was very few times did those paths over come together or whatever, entwine. And after reading this, when I was reading it, I was like, fuck, it feels pretty familiar, where it's getting to the point where, like, if you are a conservative, but I don't even like that word anymore because it's not conservative. The word conservative has just gone awry.
I'm not loving the word liberal lately. We
I
talked about that a little bit with John.
I'm not sure that that's the right word either.
And I really, I wanted to start using progressive, but then I started thinking about how, like, and I mentioned this on our group chat the other day. And I started thinking about how, like, I don't like liberal because I'm a pretty bad liberal, because I'm always like saying fucked up shit, and like shit that, I'm always I went to being at odds with other liberals about a lot of stuff, and then I like guns and blah 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 and all this shit, so like and I say insensitive shit. I say a lot of insensitive shit. It's like that bro culture thing. So I decided progressive is,
I like it.
How I'm going to identify from
Progressive.
No longer liberal, not quite progressive.
So
Progressive.
it's like if you have like kind of like a beefy chick, but she's kind of hot. I mean, like Gina Carano, maybe. She's beautiful.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
She's what?
Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. I like progressive, but yeah, conservative. Yeah, I think that those labels have ceased to have real meaning anymore.
For sure. Especially since, I mean, like we talked about the other day, the whole, like these things that we think are good ideas that almost everyone agrees on, that are fiscally responsible and stuff, that, by definition really are conservative ideas, but who is against them? Conservatives,
right? But
that's...
actually, they're Trumpians,
yeah,
and that's become the
whole what happened to Republicans? I can barely say Republicans anymore. I just want to say Trumpers, and I feel bad for like old school Republicans that are not idiots,
right? But I mean, there were only 8 that voted to impeach.
I think it was 8. I thought it was 7. Anyway,
It could have been 7. And and even like,
and how many voted for the last COVID package, that 70% of the voters wanted. 70% of the voters wanted.
Seriously, 0.
The economists, like economists are telling you, like, in order to keep the economy going and maybe see a little resurgence, you need to pass this bill.
I'm telling you, they just we just need economists to run the government.
Well,
John kind of shut that shit down because he was like, he's smart, and he's like, the problem with economists is that they don't have empathy because that's how
because they're robots.
But I'm like, you know what? At this point, I don't know that we fucking need empathy. What we need is actual solutions, and like, yeah, I just think they need the Freakonomics team. Just nice. Hire them and just be done with it.
But that vote was like straight up on party lines, without one, and it passed without one Republican vote.
House and Senate, right?
And
the problem is in 2 years, more than likely, we're gonna fight. Like, it seems to always go that way. It's gonna make a shift back, and we're gonna lose where I don't even know I want to say that, but the Democrats are going to lose the majority in one of those two, and then
everything comes to a grinding
fucking
halt
gridlock again. And because it's become so partisan, and more so than any other time period in America, anyway. It feels like we're fucking in the Elizabethan era where you fucking have Catholics and Protestants. And
But I mean, we've been, like everybody acts like this is like brand new, like that. I think that's a good
kind
point.
of is.
Well,
like
Kansas and Missouri during the Civil War, you got neighbors fucking shooting at each other over their politics and shit.
The thing about the Civil War though was that, that was actually fairly small groups of. That was a fairly small group of people, like the South. 90% of the people in the South, they weren't like fucking pro-slavery or pro-Civil War. It was the small majority landowners that were pro-slavery and were willing to like go to war with the Union to whatever. Now,
willing to send you to go to war.
Right. Exactly. Because like the average.
Well, those people went to war, those people like went to war because they got sold a bill of goods by the people that stood to by the people that had shit to gain.
You gotta remember that it wasn't like either the Union or the Confederacy. It wasn't a volunteer army. Like if you were of fighting age, you fought, and that was that.
But I mean, these people were, like they weren't. Not everyone was pressed into service, and not everyone, and these people were, like I said, sold a bill of goods by the people that stood to gain, the people that actually had shit to gain, who gained from that, I mean, black people marginally for a long fucking time gained from it. Actually, I guess you could make the argument that some of them lost, because of Reconstruction and stuff. But, the rich people who, on both sides of that, where the real conflict was, it's always going to be like that. Like our like today, what are our big divisions today? Man, like you have a lot more in common with your neighbor than, fuck.
But I mean, even like more recent history. So I go back to the Civil War, but during the the Reagan administration, even though Ronald Reagan, I used to think he was like the root of all evil. He still had bipartisan, like initiatives. Man, Nixon was fucking great. Looking back, man, I'm like, give me Nixon back. Like, I mean,
when do you think that
civil
stopped?
rights bill?
I mean, because I remember like Mitch McConnell. I've been paying attention for a long time. Mitch McConnell's the first guy that I've ever heard say,
I think
our number one priority is to not
Barack Obama
give them anything.
Barack Obama is exactly when it stopped. Yep. Because and it became, well, that's the same exact time as the Tea Party, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Barack Obama and the Tea Party. That is when it became, no, if you cross the line for any reason, you're fucking done.
And Rhino became a thing. Republican in name only.
Yeah.
Which Trump uses to this day.
Right.
Which, is Donald Trump a Republican?
Man,
who the fuck is he to call somebody a rhino? Fuck that piece of shit.
What's Dick Cheney's daughter, right?
Yeah.
She is like the most ultra conservative. I mean, I don't agree with her on a fucking thing. And she's in Wyoming, right?
Fuck Wyoming.
And she, yeah,
not because of her, just fuck Wyoming in general.
I like Yellowstone. The show. Never been to the place. But she is being ostracized by the Trumpians because she voted for impeachment, I think, or voted to allow it to move forward, whatever it was. And I mean, she is ultra conservative, like just a horrible. She's everything I wouldn't want in
She's
a
a fucking
representative.
Cheney.
She's a Cheney, exactly. And yet, like
because she turned on Don.
Right. Who wasn't even the president anymore.
Don and Karl Rove are at odds.
Who's that fucking? Who's Karl Rove?
The big time the strategist, the Republican strategist, the guy
W.
that the big like it doesn't have to be true. I just have to say it enough, guy.
Oh, that reminds me. Not the Comey,
James Comey.
the Comey Code. Is that what it's called? The
Konami Code.
The Comey Code. Something like that. Fucking amazing show. It has Jeff Daniels plays James Comey, and they
what is that on?
HBO Showtime.
Jeff Daniels just fucking great.
He's fucking amazing.
He could be Dumb and Dumber, and he can also be
to go
the
from Dumb
newsroom.
and Dumber to the newsroom is
Yeah.
like that. What a fucking arc.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
with both of
like
them.
yeah, fucking Dumb and Dumber. Like that show was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance. But yeah, what was my point? Oh, the Comey Code, I think it's called. God damn, I should look it up. But Jeff Daniels plays James Comey, and it is like, I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but they fucking like, it's minute by minute of how this all went down, and it's really interesting because I mean I followed it. I followed it pretty closely in the news back when, because they get into the whole thing like the Clinton investigation, and like Comey got fucking raked over the coals for reopening the investigation like days before the election, right?
And rightfully so.
Well, watch the show because it really explains why he was rocking a hard place in that situation. If he didn't reopen that investigation, because they found on Anthony Weiner's, and they like found no ill intent on all of the other emails, right? They did find like that she like
Used a personal
she
server.
fucked it up. She fucked up, but she didn't break the it's not even necessarily that she didn't break the law. She didn't have malicious intent. That's what they were able to say, that she didn't have malicious intent. She did fuck up, she did break law, but she didn't have malicious intent in all of those emails. So then, okay, investigation done. And then whatever it was, 8 days before the election, they found Anthony Weiner on his hard drive, on his thing. They have, I know Anthony Weiner.
Wiener.
Great.
Hard.
And we're talking about a guy who sent fucking Wiener shots. Dude, don't you get the irony?
Totally.
Keep it in your pants, bro. But then they found all of the emails on his computer, and then they had to go through whatever it was, 25,000 emails, like 8 days before the election. But they couldn't not tell Congress that they were reopening the investigation, because if they found something really bad, then just watch it. I don't want to try to explain it, because I'm trying to explain it and I realize I'm fucking it up, but it was so gripping. And I was just saying on Facebook how I really recommended it, but it's way different having, like, knowing a story. I basically knew what happened. I followed the news at the time, but then being told the story and having that timeline laid out for you, very fascinating. My opinion of Comey, it really changed watching this. It's just like anything. Once you understand where somebody's coming from, like what their motivations were, it's much easier to like be, a champion of them. And I mean, fucking Trump hated his guts. So, and Trump, they have an actor playing. The one thing I really liked about the show is they didn't dance around anything. They had an actor playing Barack Obama, who was fucking great. They had an actor playing Trump, who was fucking great. They had Jeff Daniels playing Comey, who was fucking great. It's really well done. Yeah, it's just I think it's 2 or 3 episodes. It's real short.
Like a mini series.
Yeah, they just tell that story.
Can I listen to it?
Is it out on a book?
It's worth
can I narrate
watching
it?
though, because it's
No, I'll definitely check it out. I wanted to last time. In fact, I was thinking about that when I was like fucking looking for something to watch a couple weeks ago. I was like, what the fuck was it that
yeah,
I
it's really
spaced
good.
that shit off.
So I wanted to say that you know the easiest way to get me to buy you a drink if you come into 9th Street and I'm working? Tell me you listen to the podcast. So your friend Alicia
Yes.
stopped in the other night, and I just turned into like a little, like, I'm like, she's like, hey, you're the podcast guy, aren't you? And I'm like, yes, I totally am the podcast guy. And then she's like,
shucks.
and then she's like, will you take a selfie with me? And I was like, I absolutely will. It's so fucking flattering when that happens. And yeah, it was just really cool. She's been really cool. So
Yeah, she's my little homegirl. She's from Pine River.
yep.
And yeah, her boyfriend holds the record for most times thrown out in one night
Oh,
at the bar. And which
Proud.
yeah, I had
Does he have a plaque for that?
he should like up his ass. But nah, he's a good kid. But it was actually kind of nice, like while it was like taxing, you know, because I was working by myself, and I was getting fucking really sick of it. But he didn't like puff up on me or give me any reason to fucking, you know, maul him or anything. But there were a couple of old guys watching, and they were like, "You have the most patience of anyone I've ever seen." They're like, it's amazing. Your patience is amazing, and I'm like, thank you. Like that's a huge compliment, you know, because like, believe me, patience is like the one thing that you can keep working on through your bouncing career, you know. But you know, and I'm proud of how patient I really am. But but like I said, you know, that was one night. Normally he's fucking great, and she is fucking wonderful, and she's got her and a couple of her girlfriends. They listen to the show.
yeah. And we don't really talk about it. We never talk about it, actually. I don't know if we've ever even said it, but you know it. So I was at Caribou the other day, and my barista, who I've known forever, she's like, hey, I saw your podcast on YouTube. And I said, oh, awesome. You know what we're talking about, whatever. And she's like, yeah, it actually came up in my, like, stuff you might be interested, local feed thing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And we never talk about it. But if you guys like the show, you watch the show, you can really help us out just by doing a couple of easy things. A, subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, rating and reviewing it if you're listening to it on a podcast app. Makes a huge difference.
I don't know anything about that.
I know, you just got to do it. Just 5 stars. That's the only one.
Boom.
But that makes like a huge difference as to like what it'll send it to people. Like people will start to get to know it. And we never even talk about it because we have no desire to ever try to make money off of this or do anything like that. But it is awesome when people start like listening to it or watching it and being like, oh, I really enjoy your show. It's super fun. It makes me feel so fucking good.
Yeah, even if they've already talked about the show, like Brian, who disappeared from Facebook, Brian Thompson, Biggs.
Yeah, he did disappear.
He was like, man, he's like, last episode was my favorite episode ever. He's like, that was fucking great. He's
The one
like,
with John?
some of that, yeah, and yeah, just people. It is really nice when you find out somebody watches it.
Yeah.
And stuff,
Well, and I mean, we're asking people to do
or listens.
a lot. I mean, you want to sit and listen to us like basically jabber about nothing for 3 hours.
Right.
I mean, Jesus
Same
Christ,
shit over and
how
over.
How fucking shitty is your life? But like it's just really flattering, and it's definitely the easiest way to get me to buy you a drink. So.
Right on.
I have one more story I wanted to tell real quick about Saturday night, though. I fucking so Saturday was the downtown, you know, St. Patty's Day thing, and it was a pretty busy night and long. You know, we opened early or whatever, and it was getting toward the end of the night. I'm getting tired, and I get grumpy these days. I'm an old man now.
Dude,
Same.
By 10 o'clock, I'm going like, thank God we're not open till 1, you know? I'm going to die. And some kid was in there, and he was being a bit of an asshole, and he's like, hey, you owe me $6. I said, what? And he goes, yeah, you owe me $6. And I was like, okay, why? And he goes, "You skipped my songs on the jukebox." And I was like, "Dude, I didn't skip your songs on the jukebox. Like, we have a remote control, and you can skip people's songs, but I've never done it unless, like,
It's WAP 4 times in a row.
Well, that'll happen. No, the only time I've ever done it is, like, a group of people are in, and they're playing, like, their music, and then they leave, and they have, like, 5 more songs on the jukebox, and somebody else wants in, then I'll just skip them. Only time I've ever done it.
Still fucking an album and a half of Nickelback songs.
Right.
Well, I was gonna.
What about all the good stuff Nickelback's done?
You
Is
know
there
what?
good stuff?
I swear to God,
They put on
a
a great show.
I was thinking about that band the other day, and I'm like,
Did you see them at the Iron Rail when they were there? They were at the Iron Rail, right?
That was Fuel.
Oh, Fuel. You know what? Is there a difference between those bands?
I feel
Yeah,
like,
I like Fuel.
I feel like Nickelback
No, I
has
like-
got a really bad rap over the years. I know the songs are simple and shit like that, but like, I don't understand. No, I'm not a big fan or anything. I'm not a fan at all, but I don't understand why they get such a bad rap, and yet people treat bands like Kiss like they were good. Now I don't know anything about music. But when you Kiss popped into my head when you said that you didn't enjoy trying to write lyrics, and I'm like, and yet Kiss wrote a bunch of songs, because when your lyrics are just garbage, like Kiss's lyrics.
Have
and
you read any of Rob Zombie's lyrics? It's just fucking. It's
just word salad?
yeah.
I
But he sings it like this with a big badass music going on, so it's cool.
lots of electronic shit going on. Who's another one? What's his name? That dipshit, Ted Nugent. Like his lyrics and shit like that. When your lyrics could have been written by like a fucking, and not like a 12-year-old kid, and not even a smart 12-year-old kid. I'm just like, I mean, so like a lot of bands that people just love, they're crazy about. I even came to the realization the other day that maybe AC/DC isn't as great a band as I thought they are, as I've gone my whole life thinking that they are.
Oh, come now.
I know people are gonna.
She's got sagly sighs. What the fuck is a sagly sigh?
I think. Are you talking about Sightly Sighs?
I don't know.
But
She's got sagly sighs, telling me no lies.
And I don't know enough about music.
For the life of me, I have no idea what that fucking line is. I'm pretty sure it's sagly sighs.
Well, we know that it's from fucking You Shook Me All Night Long because it's the one song that everybody fucking plays. Like, I love AC/DC. How about You Shook Me All Night Long?
Like, what are you, a classic rock radio station?
With that whole body of work, you've got that one song. That's it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know shit
My
about
favorite
music, though.
AC/DC song is a cover by the band Two Cellos, and they do Thunderstruck, and it's fucking amazing.
That's badass.
I want to finish the story about this fucking asshole.
Oh, I'm
though.
sorry.
So he's like, "You owe me $6," and I'm like, "No, man, I don't." Whatever. I said, "Let me ask Erin." So I go over and ask her, and she said, "No, I didn't skip any fucking songs on the jukebox." So I go back there, and he won't let it drop. He just keeps on saying, like, "Hey, you skipped my song. You skipped my song." I said, "Dude, keep saying it, and I'm gonna throw you out." And he's like, "Well," I said, "Say it again," and then he's like, "Whatever." So 10 minutes later or whatever, Erin says to me, "Hey, that guy was all pissy about the jukebox. He wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Fuck. All right, but if he says it again, I'm throwing him out." So I walk over there and he goes, "Dude, I just wanted to apologize." And I was like, "Oh, well, you should, because you were being a fucking asshole, but okay, accept it." He goes, "Yeah, I know you didn't skip my songs." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't." He goes, "I played them at the parlor." I was like, it just cracked me up. I was like,
I mean, kudos to him
played
for
it at the
admitting
that's who
that.
they- Yes,
Yeah.
like we always talk about like how important it is. Like that's being a man is being able to But you know what? Don't be a cockmunch in the first place.
Well, for sure. And I mean, really, like, one could easily miss $6 worth of songs on the jukebox because these days that's 2 songs.
Right. That's Wet Ass Pussy twice.
Should charge double for that.
Oh my God. I think 8 times. I think it was 8 times on Saturday. Wet ass pussy.
You should have a chalkboard, and just every time it comes on.
I should. Or I should skip.
Let's go and say, well, that would, if you do the chalkboard thing, then that would encourage people to see how many times they can get you.
And then it would,
You know,
yeah.
I'm
I would
surprised
just
that,
have to
like,
listen to it again.
That whole
garbage.
skip feature on the app, like, I'm surprised that doesn't start more fistfights, you know?
You can't skip somebody else's song. You can just budge. You have to pay more money to budge. Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Meta's horrible with that fucking app. She'll, like, we'll go in and, you know, have a couple of drinks, and she'll spend $50 to get her, like, in songs. And I'm like, does this make any sense? You know? But she's like, well, I have to be up front. You know?
Oh, funny.
Oh, crazy. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about?
I'm golden. I'm good.
Good. Well, I just said, I actually, like, picked out the song that I want to take us out with today. And, like, we did, I don't remember what we did, but I'm going to play the actual video at the end. So if you're listening to this, you really want to go on YouTube and search for Childish Gambino. This is America. It is a fantastic song. Have you seen that video?
Yep.
But the video is amazing. I am obsessed with one-shot videos. Because they're so hard to do, and it's just the filmmaker in me just finds them, like, amazing. And this is probably the best one-shot video. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, but this is a really, really good one-shot video.
Obviously, you haven't watched any of my one-shot porn.
I have not.
You will.
I mean,
It's only 5 seconds long.
right. They're short.
Still one shot.
Very short.
Thank you. Please check out Changing of the Guard, a Spire City Noir, available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes.
There you go. And you also have a website, too, don't you?
I do. Just my first name, last name, chadfrink.com.
And
It's way out of date.
Well,
But
I just saw that you had it on your Facebook, and I was like, it's cool that you got your own website. I never update ours either. I mean,
if you look up johnnysaturn.com, I think that'll get you a direct link to the Amazon book.
oh, cool. And you get it on Audible, too.
Audible,
Yep.
Amazon, and iTunes.
And iTunes. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. And again, this is America by Childish Gambino. Check it out.